the carriageway. So we're visible to everyone now, so we put our indicator on and we're going to flow down into the slip road, checking our mirrors. We're looking for a positive response from a vehicle, either moving across into lane 2 or flashing their lights. I know Highway Code Rule 110 states that flashing of lights is a warning that the vehicle is there, but we need to use a little bit of common sense, and if a vehicle flashes us, we check and confirm it's a positive response before getting the gas on and getting gone with our vehicle. So as you can see up ahead, we've got a vulnerable road user, some people working on the carriageway. We must always be checking them off as we go by. So we're looking right ahead using maximum observation, and as we can see there is a change of speed gateway and we have got a slip road joining. So we've got lots to do. We've got to check our mirrors before changing our speed, and we need to check our mirrors to make sure nothing is coming down the slip road. We're also checking our mirror on the right hand side for anything that might want to come racing around us. So left is best, we drive on the left in this country. Alright, so if there's a left-hand lane available to us, we must return into it. So we do that by checking our mirrors, signalling, checking our mirror, and then manoeuvring into our lane. And we can follow the road ahead. Be aware that we are going down a hill, right, and the weight of this vehicle will start to make it run away. We must control the weight and the speed. So that sign on the left down side of the road is telling us that the dual carriageway ends. We also have a change of speed gateway to 40 miles an hour. So with a set of traffic lights here, they might change if there is a vehicle in the junction, and they have. It's quite difficult, there we can see the vehicle coming out of the junction. It's quite difficult to see into this junction because of the hoarding boards for the new build houses. Anytime there is a vehicle at that junction, it will trigger the sequence of lights. So we always take a little bit of speed off on the approach to set of traffic lights, anticipating that they might change. Look at it, especially if there's a lot of cars queuing up there, we know the lights have been on red for a while, so the likelihood is they're going to change to green. At the roundabout, I'd like you to go ahead. Third exit, please. So as you can see, we're getting our position correct. We're altering our speed and getting our speed correct, and we're looking into the roundabout. As we're coming up to the roundabout, we're checking our left and right mirrors, paying particular attention to our left-hand mirrors and any vehicles that might appear on our left-hand side. As we look in our mirror at the present time, we can see there is a lorry coming up alongside us. So we looked into the roundabout and it's clear. Checking our left mirror, we're safe to proceed in and turn left. And around the roundabout, and we take our exit by indicating and checking our mirror. We do not move back into the left lane until we are clear of the pedestrian crossing and any hatch markings or zigzag lines that are on the roadway. And here you see that by checking our mirror, we still have cars racing up our inside and indeed undertaking us. roundabout, I'd like you to turn left, please. So if we look up at the directional board for the roundabout, we can see that our road is a dedicated lane, therefore no indication would be required. We can flow around, and we use all the road ahead that we see to be clear. So we can put our front wheels over into the hatch marked area, alright, so we do not mount the curb with our rear wheels. Pay particular attention to the debris mark on the floor when we moved over to the left to come around the corner. No pedestrians at the crossing, therefore the lights are unlikely to change. Everybody gets a little bit nervous by Bridge Road, right, especially when we're going through the bridge. Right, it is quite tight, but we will fit. Just take some of the speed off. Checking in your mirror, right hand side as we come around, because we don't want the trailer to cut across and shut down a live carriageway. So as you can see, Nick predicted that the lights were going to change because we had pedestrians waiting to cross. So he was taking the speed off as we approached the lights, and therefore anticipating that that was going to happen. As they changed to red, we were already taking off the speed and checking in our mirrors as we brought the vehicle to a safe, controlled stop. At the roundabout, I'd like you to turn left. This is the start of your independent drive. Please follow the road signs for the city centre. So as you can see, if we look up at the sign, we can see that the city centre is a left turn on the roundabout. So if a signal, an indication, would benefit another road user, that includes a pedestrian, right, we would signal. Although it is a dedicated lane, we would still signal. People cannot see through a lorry. With a car, you can see through the glass. With a lorry, you cannot see through the back of the trailer unless you've got X-ray eyes. So any time we move away, we must use observation. Check the mirrors and a shoulder check down to the right. Things catch us up at traffic lights, especially motorcycles, especially cyclists. Anytime we get a vehicle go beside us that's the same size as us, for example a lorry or a bus, check them off in the mirror. Make sure they've gone past us safely. Anytime there's a vulnerable road user, pedestrian on the curb, we must check them off and follow them through as we go. Pay particular attention to how we flowed around the parked cars. We didn't race up to them and have to deal with them at the last minute. Nick pre-planned and we flowed out and flowed around the cars. Where there is a bus lane available to us, we must use that bus lane. We drive on the left on this country, therefore if a bus lane is available, we go into it and we use it. At the start of a bus lane, where we're going over the broken white line, there is no need to indicate. If we need to come out of the bus lane for any reason, we would indicate because we're coming over a solid white line. And if we needed to go back into the bus lane across the solid white line, we would again indicate to do that manoeuvre. We're going to be turning right at the traffic lights, please. So this is quite an important manoeuvre and can be quite difficult if not done correctly. We need to signal our intentions as we approach the traffic lights. The lane then splits into two. We must make sure we are fully in our right hand lane and not interfering with any traffic on the left hand side of us. Obviously we do not enter into any hatch marking boxes. If there were no vehicles up to the traffic lights and the traffic lights were on red, we would proceed right up to the stop line of the traffic lights. If there are any vehicles against the traffic lights on a red light, we would not be able to, and we'd have to stop back behind this hatch marking box. As you can see, the lights have turned to red, so it's perfectly acceptable and we will fit in the gap between the traffic lights and the hatch marking box. Note how we have stopped at the first line of the advanced stop box. The car beside me has gone straight into that box and should not be in there. However, if the light was to change to green and we were to proceed forwards and then it was to change to red, we would stop at the second line. So we are turning right here, and it is very important that we are making mirror checks. We need to be checking for vehicles coming beside us. If it's a bus or a lorry or something the same size as us, we will not be able to make the manoeuvre because of the shoulder swing of the trailer. Don't turn too soon into the junction. Wait until the cab has come over the drains on the road, then we turn right, checking before, during and after the manoeuvre. And the vehicle comes around nicely, not interfering with any vehicles that might have been in the lanes as we turned in. Where we have bicycle lanes, we do not drive in bicycle lanes. Make an effort to stay out of them. So with this bicycle lane, we would not fit past the bike, especially now we've got this keep left bollard. We need to take a little bit of the bicycle lane by checking our mirror and just coming into it. We're following the road ahead. As you can see, we've got an oncoming emergency vehicle. So with our pre-planning, we can see the vehicles coming on, so we're going to make space by moving to the left and let the vehicle make progress down through the road. Do not be tempted to overtake anybody along this road, especially a push bike. It is illegal and you will fail your test if you are over the zigzag lines at pedestrian crossing while overtaking. And here we have zigzag lines. If there is a bus in each of these bus stops either side of the road, as you will see, or as you can see, we would not fit through the middle. So we would have to stop back and wait for one of them buses to clear the bus stop. We're going to follow the road ahead, which naturally becomes very tight. With pre-planning, we can deal with this quite simply. So we need to signal to let everybody know what we're going to do. Notice how we're hanging back from the parked cars. So when we proceed forwards, we can take charge of the situation and command the road space. So we're going right over the line, taking charge of the roadway and sitting out in the middle of the road. We're dominating the space. So anything coming down will see us, know they won't fit, and wait and let us proceed on. We're still following the signs for the city centre, so we're going to go ahead at the first set of traffic lights, then turn left at the second set of traffic lights. So because we're turning left, the cab needs to be over to the right with the left-hand indicator showing. Don't be tempted to turn too soon when you do the turn. Let the cab come through the yellow hatch marking box on your side of the road. We're paying particular attention to the gap, and also the guy that stood on the pavement, the vulnerable road user, not paying any attention to the road traffic, but looking at his mobile phone.